So, yes, my people, again, I am live again, and I'm live with another one. And so this today we'll be looking at um, the real Islam idea for women and the modern woman, Muslim woman in the United States, and their idea for themselves. And we'll see how um, Muslim women like um, Umar, the politician Umar, is actually showing us that Islam is not good for women. They, uh, her life in the United States proves that Islam is not good for women. So there is um, Ilhan Omar, Ilhan Omar, Homar, and Daniel Haqiqatjou. So we'll see. Um, when I hear this name, it remind me of Pikachu, the cartoon character. But anyway, we'll see whose Islam is the real Islam. You know, is it Daniel Haqiqatjou's Islam, or is it the politician? What's her name? Ilhan Omar? Is it Ilhan Omar? Uh, Version of Islam, whose version of Islam is the real Islam, and why should um, Miss Omar be an Islamophobe? If Miss Omar listened to this Muslim, Daniel Haqiqatjou, would she not be an Islamophobe? So let's get started. So we're going to show a video that David Wood make, and in the video, David Wood is showing Miss Umar excited about a Islamophobia bill that was passed in the U.S. By the U.S. Senate. She was happy, elated about this Islamophobe bill. But what we look at, to be real with you, Muslims are more Islamophobe than anyone else. And there is a Muslim that is not Islamophobe. He's not Islamophobic at all. And his name is Daniel Haqiqatjou. He's not scared of telling you what the real Islam is about. So let's get into the video and of David Wood talking about Umar for a little bit, and we'll see her view in regards to her brother, fellow Muslims' view.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's Islamophobia bill was recently passed by the House, or, as she would so eloquently put it...
Sorry, I said the Senate, it was the House. Yes, they are Democrat. I don't pay attention to these people too much.
Something was passed by someone somewhere. The new legislation declares that the U.S. government will now combat Islamophobia, but it doesn't bother to define Islamophobia.
So this, what we are seeing here, the U.S. government passed a bill that will combat Islamophobia, but at the same time, there's no definition of what Islamophobia is. You know, what Muslims are trying to do all over the world. And we see that Vladimir Putin recently had a press conference where he actually says no one should criticize, quote unquote, Prophet Muhammad. Well, if Vladimir Putin is telling you not to criticize someone, what should you do? Criticize that person. If Vladimir Putin is telling you not to criticize someone, like he naturally comes from his mouth, don't criticize this person, specific person, what you need to do is criticize the person. You need to, because Putin is no role model for you to follow. But we see that Umar, she's doing the very same thing that Vladimir Putin is doing, selling Islam, trying to sell Islam. But is her agenda the same as Vladimir Putin's agenda? What is Vladimir's agenda for selling Islam? What is his real agenda? That man walk into a country, the Ukraine, bombing, killing children, bombing apartment building, hospitals, all these kind of stuff. And he's the one telling you not to criticize Muhammad. Did Muhammad did similar to what Vladimir Putin is doing now? Yes. There was a time when Muhammad have started a war and a group of people in the middle of the night while they were in their bed sleeping. And when his men said to him, do you see that there are signs that the Russian army, some of the Russian soldiers, do not want to fight? And Muhammad's men said to Muhammad, what about the women and the children being killed in the night raid? And Muhammad's answer was, they are from among them. He was callous, just like Vladimir Putin, and did not care about people, did not care about people's life. Muhammad is very suicidal at the beginning of his so-called revelation, and a suicidal man who doesn't care about his life, how is he going to care about your life? So we see the similarity in Vladimir Putin that we have seen in Muhammad. So we could see why Vladimir Putin would embrace Muhammad and want you to be not against Muhammad. But also Vladimir Putin have a reason to be watering down and fight against free speech. Because if you criticize Muhammad, then you will lead to criticize him. And if a Russian criticizes Muhammad, then it will lead the person to criticize Vladimir Putin, because they are similar. They are similar people. So we could see what Vladimir Putin's agenda is, but what is Umar, what's a Ilhan Omar, is that what her name is? Ilhan Omar. What is her agenda? What is her agenda for trying to stop people from talking against Islam?
Many people are concerned that the new law will be used to punish what used to be protected speech. But there's a bigger problem with Ilhan Omar's bill, namely that Ilhan Omar is an Islamophobe. Just listen.
And according to Daniel Haqiqatjou, Ilhan Omar is an Islamophobe. We're going to play a video from Daniel Haqiqatjou, and you will see that according to Daniel Haqiqatjou idea of Islam, and which is supported more than any idea you can find of Islam. Daniel Haqiqatjou's idea of Islam is supported more than any idea you could find regarding Islam. Speaking about Islam, Daniel Haqiqatjou's idea is more by the Islamic literature, the scholars, and by the Quran itself than any other literature that you will ever find in Islam. So at the end of the day, even according to Ilhan Omar, brother, fellow Muslim, she is an Islamophobe. She totally is an Islamophobe.
Listen to some of her comments from the House floor when she was introducing her bill.
There are cynics who would rather see us divided on racial, ethnic, gender, and religious lines because it suits their political agenda. But I believe as Americans, we should stand united against all forms of bigotry.
As Americans, we should stand united against all forms of bigotry.
And when you look at it, you're going to see how Daniel Haqiqatjou, the Muslim, showed that Ilhan Omar, if I'm pronouncing her name right, Ilhan Omar is nothing but a stupid woman, even according to Muhammad. Ilhan Omar is nothing but a stupid woman, even though to us, when we look at what she's saying, do we want her bill? No, we don't want her bill. But that what she just says about people uniting and fighting for one just cause, we would agree with that. If you are fighting to uphold the United States Constitution, and part of the Constitution, which include freedom of speech, freedom to voice your opinion, not to be called an Islamophobe when you voice your opinion regarding what you can prove.
That is one of the most Islamophobic statements in history. Why? Because if we unite against all forms of bigotry, we have to unite against Muhammad and the Quran, the twin pillars of bigotry. In Surah 98, verse 6 of the Quran, Allah declares, "Verily, those who disbelieve in the religion of Islam, the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad, from among the people of the scripture, Jews and Christians, and al-mushrikun," mushrikun are people who associate partners with Allah, "will abide in the fire of hell. They are the worst of creatures."
Can you imagine a Muslim calling somebody the worst of creatures? Can you imagine that? A Muslim calling someone the worst of creatures. Wow. And Muhammad calling someone the worst of creatures. Muhammad walking around with semen on his clothes. Wow. Muhammad, who was walking around with semen on his clothes and boasting about an angel gave him a pot of Viagra that make him have the sexual strength of 40 men. Calling somebody the worst of creature. A man that went to his adopted son's house, saw the adopted son's wife, lusted for her, and did not stop until he write a Quranic verse that tell him it is okay to take the adopted son's wife. Then he saw a woman going down the street. He lusted for the woman, could not restrain himself, run home to the wife he stole from his adopted son to have sex, and then came back to his companion and says, the woman advanced like the devil. And he's not among the worst of creatures. Wow. A man who robbed caravans, raided old communities, and capture their women, allow his men to have sex with women, ejaculating them and sell them as slaves. And he is not among the worst of creature, but I am among the worst of creature. What a donkey. What a stupid donkey, man. Reel up, man.
So, Jews, Christians, and polytheists are the worst of creatures, according to the Quran. We're lower than pigs. What about Muslims? Well, in Surah 3, verse 110, Allah says to Muslims, "You are the best of peoples ever raised up for mankind."
Wow. Can you mean that? The best of people is Muhammad. Wow. This God must be crazy. There's a movie called The God Must Be Crazy, man. This guy, the God of Islam must be crazy. Something wrong with his head. This is the reason the God of Islam is nobody but Muhammad. Nobody but a demon-possessed man. That's what the God of Islam is. The alter ego of a demon-possessed man. Even Aisha was seeing that this is the alter ego of a demon-possessed man. Aisha says, it appears that your Lord, I'm maybe paraphrasing, it appears that your Lord hastened to fulfill your desire. Why would you say that? If you believe that your husband is a prophet, why would you say something like that? Because thoughts come into your head like, this man may be conning the people. He's a con artist.
So, Muslims are the best of peoples. Non-Muslims are the worst of creatures. Does this mean that people should be treated differently based on their religion?
Ilhan Omar is the epitome of hypocrisy. She's a total hypocrite. A total hypocrite. She knows nothing about her religion, and living in the West, enjoying the life of the West and the freedom of the West. And let me show you, I'm going to get back to David Wood, and I will show you how Daniel Haqiqatjou proved that Ilhan Omar is enjoying the life of the West. So let's look. Say, hi, bro. Hey, my brother, how are you? How are you? Thank you, brother. God bless you. God bless you too. I always want this surah, and today you bring it. That's, man. So look at this now. Look at this now. Look at this now, and you will see where the male Muslim. Listen, make the male Muslim talk, and you will see how the male Muslim idea of Ilhan Omar. You will see what is this male Muslim idea of Ilhan Omar. To him, she's nothing but a piece of trash and a hypocrite. So listen to this guy, and you see how he view her.
Alhamdulillah, I was blessed to marry my wife 13 years ago. We got married in college at Harvard. After the marriage, we sat down for one of our...
So he married to a woman from Harvard. Anybody know Harvard University, man? You go to Harvard as a woman or as a man, you have the potential to do something with your life. And the potential to do something with your life could be a life-changing thing for many, many people around the world, because you could choose to be a doctor. You could choose to be a lawyer. And what kind of law? You could practice a law that help the poor of your society. You could practice medicine to help the poor of your society. You could take that stuff and say, you know what? I'm going to practice as a doctor, and I'm not even going to charge these people any money. I'm going to live just a regular life. And do good with what I get from this education. But listen to what this idiot he said to his wife.
First meals together. At that point, we didn't really know much about each other. So we were just talking. And at one point in the conversation, out of the blue, I told her, you know what? I don't believe in women's education. She kind of looked shocked back at me, stunned, like I was from a different planet. Many of you watching this are probably just as confused as my wife was that night. But after I explained to her exactly why I don't believe in women's education and my Islamic reasons for this, she came to fully agree with me.
Is his wife a Muslim? Is his wife a Muslim? And was she a wife at the time when he told her that? And this is the deception, man. Did he tell her that before she become a wife? Or did he tell her that when she was a wife? Because if he tell her that when she become already a wife, guess what? Education doesn't take away superstition and your stupidity. It doesn't. You know what take away your superstition and your stupidity? Believing in Jesus Christ. That's what take away your superstition and your stupidity. Like a lot of people have these superstition and this stupidity that I don't have. I don't believe in this stupidness. I remember one time I just came to the state, and I was working at this restaurant, White Castle restaurant, and that was my first job in the United States. And I was sweeping and this girl came around the corner and walked right into the broom while I make the floor of sweep. And she threw a fit. She said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you sweep my leg." The superstition that she had. If a broom touch your leg and none of these things, we are the upper creature in the universe. The world is given as our dominion by God. And nothing that is within this dominion have power over us unless we allow that thing to have power over us. Because what? This is our domain that God give us, to have dominion over the earth. But what can stop us from having dominion? What we choose to follow. The things that we choose in our life. So at the end of the day, according to the Hadith and according to Muhammad, if the woman doesn't follow her husband, the husband can not sleep with her, the husband can do this, and the husband can beat her. And the Islamic ideal is that what happened in the Islamic home stay in the Islamic home. People ask the question like, why is there so much cases of domestic violence here in the West, like here in the United States? Why? Because everything is made public. If someone filed charges against me, the moment these charges are filed and enter this computer system, guess what? You could go downtown and pull that stuff up, and guess what? It is there. You could even stay anywhere in the world and pull it up, and it's there. But guess what? Islamic women are treated bad, and no one knows about it. They come to their mosque, masjid as they call it. They come to their mosque and they tell their imam and their stuff, and the imam tell them like, they should respect Allah and keep the husband affair as a secret. There is a story of a woman being molested by her father and his friends in a mosque in England, and the woman been telling people, and nobody would listen until she finally tell it to the right authorities, and then that's when it become public. Can you imagine? This is England we are talking about. England. What if it was in a Muslim country? They say, hey, the criminal, the rape cases and all this stuff. How do we know about Islamic countries and rape when they don't broadcast what happened in their country like the way the Western countries broadcast what happened in their country? We can know that. You can know what happened to a wife in her home versus what happened to a wife in her home in the United States. You cannot compare these things because we don't have a religion telling us to keep secret anything that happened to us in our home. The religion of Christianity tell you that you should forgive each other, yes, but then it also tell you that you should follow the laws of the land. You should follow the laws of the land. You should follow the laws of the land as long as they correspond with love God first and love humanity second. Because when they asked the Messiah, what is the two greatest law? He said, hey, greatest law is to love the Lord your God with all your heart. So if you love the Lord your God with all your heart, you will never follow a man-made law that violate the laws of God. And if you love your fellow man, then you will never violate the law of God either. So at the end of the day, whatever law you're going to follow or whatever law you're going to adhere to, gotta be a law that is within the law of God. So at the end of the day, you see how the Bible makes way more sense than the Quran, because what? We know what kind of society, God knows what kind of society was going to be developed. Societies were going to be around us. When the Messiah were giving and Paul and these people were giving these laws, they knew, because it came from the wise God who foreknew what society we were going to be living in the last days. So if you're living in, say, a Muslim beat his wife, and I hear my neighbor, a Muslim, beating his wife, and I call the cops, guess what? The cops come and they look at that woman. He could go to jail. Even when she failed to press charges against him, he could go to jail. and with all charge, if she have any bruise or anything on her, these Muslims will lie to you and say, "Oh, the Quran says to beat her with a what they call that stuff, a mushrik, whatever they call that stuff, the toothpick stuff. That's a lie. That's all lies, all lies." In the days of Muhammad, the women were being beaten to the point where they were green. And did Muhammad tell the man to stop beating his wife? Not according to the hadith. He told the woman to go back and live with her husband, and he actually create a monkey court that is lacking in evidence, and so that he could show the dominance of the man over the woman. So listen to this guy.
I hope the same will be the case with everyone listening today.
So he say he hope the same. His wife agree with him that his idea is right. And so what is his wife doing now? I had a home woman who went to Harvard, so wasted education. When she could have used her education, geared her education in a direction where she could have been valued to the people around her. Instead of that, she cooking Daniel Haqiqatjou food and having sex with him as much as he feel like. If she don't, the angel curse her till morning. That's what Muhammad says.
My position in this debate is simple. Pursuing education empowers women, but Islam is against empowering women.
Do you notice what he says? Islam is against empowering women. And Ilhan Omar, is she empowered? Is she empowered? Yes, to the point where she could make an Islamophobic law come as part of a bill in the House. Do you see? In the House, she could pass a bill, cause a bill to be passed by the House. She's empowered. So is this Daniel Haqiqatjou, or Haqiqatjou, whatever his name is he against Ilhan Omar? Yes, he is against her. Yes, and this is Islam. So who is the Islamophobe? Ilhan Omar is an Islamophobe, big time Islamophobe, because what she is projecting is not really Islam. And you will see as this guy continue, it's not really Islam.
I know this sounds shocking to some, but hear me out. What I mean by empowerment is increasing social status and power through education or career. Islam
increase social status. Is the social status of Ilhan Omar increased? Yes, it is increased. It is increased. So Islam is against increasing the social status of a woman. But yet still, that woman, cocky as hell, could get up into the house and speak and tell you, hey, shut up, Americans. Shut up about my religion. Shut up about my religion. But she would not want to see the full blunt of her religion. That woman who is enjoying the life in the West would not want to see the full blunt of her religion. All these half kafir. I'm a full kafir. All these half kafir, including this idiot Daniel Haqiqatjou, would not want to see the full blunt of their religion. They only propagate that stuff. They like the control over women. They like to have that control over women where they can dominate women and get what they want, exploit people. Muhammad was an exploiter of the Jews, exploiter of the people, and exploiter of women. So they want that privilege to exploit women. And this is why they embrace this stupidity. Ilhan Omar have no clue of her religion. She's a clueless woman because her religion is modernized, westernized. Listen to this guy.
Islam does not encourage women to gain power in the...
He says Islam does not encourage women to gain power. Is he lying? Yes, he is not lying. He is not lying. And we have proof that this guy is not lying. He's not lying.
This way. In fact, Islam is against it. You won't find anywhere in the Quran in the Sunnah or the scholarly tradition where women are encouraged to gain power and status in society.
Do you hear what the man said? You will not find nowhere in the Quran or the Sunnah where women is encouraged to gain power in society. And I remember this guy from this thing called something institute. I can't remember what institute. He was having a dialogue with the Christians, and he was trying to impress the Christians. This is a Muslim guy, and he was trying to impress the Christian. And the first thing came out of his mouth. I think one of the first line came out of his mouth. If not the first line, it's among the first 5 lines that came out of his mouth. Was Indonesia is the biggest Muslim country, and they have woman is before the United States, the first before the United States to have a female president. And I laughed when I heard that, because what? That is in violation of Muhammad's rule. That is totally in violation of Muhammad's rule. And guess what? The woman was not elected as president. She was the vice president. And when something happened to that, the president stepped down, she temporarily take the place of the president. And guess what? When the election came around, she ran for election, lost, run again another time, lost, run again another time, and lost 3 times. Because what? It is not in the handbook of Islam that you should have a woman as your ruler. A matter of fact, let me show you why. Let me show you what Muhammad says. Let me show you what Muhammad says. Let me show you what Muhammad said. Here is Muhammad speaking. Okay, so this is Sunnah.com, and this is Sahih al-Bukhari, 7099, book 92, hadith 50. During the battle of Al-Jamal, Allah benefited me with a word. I heard from the prophet. When the prophet heard the news that the people of Persia had made the daughter of Kushru, their queen, ruler, he said, never will succeed such a nation as makes a woman their ruler. So you see that Muhammad did not want, thank you, brother. Muhammad did not want a woman to be no leader of a man, no ruler. A woman should not rule. And what position does Ilhan Omar have? A ruling position. In her state where she's from, I think she's what, Minnesota? Where she's from, Minnesota, I think, if I remember right. Who is the head? Who is the top person in Minnesota in the politics? She is. She is the top person in politics. So she is ruling over men there. When you hear Daniel Haqiqatjou speak, you will hear him saying that a woman should not hold that kind of position. A woman should not hold that kind of position.
Does this mean that there weren't rich or powerful women in Muslim society? Of course, there have been many such women, but they had power by means of marriage or through family ties or through inheritance. And
do you notice what he said? They have power to family ties, to marriage, or to inheritance. And this is why you know that something was wrong with Muhammad. This is why you know that something was wrong with Muhammad. Somebody in the comment says Daniel flexing his wife. He's showing out his power that he have over his wife. Another person said Daniel debate your wife. Sudham said, I don't know, these must be women. Now, Amir R sound like a man. Black male sound like a man. So they're saying Daniel is flexing his wife. He's showing how gullible his wife is, really. That's what he's showing, how gullible his wife is and how he have control over his wife. How much he's able to manipulate his wife to a point where his wife would listen to him as an Harvard graduate and sit at home, bearing his child, cooking his food. Wow. And if you listen to all the comment here, some of the comment is talking so bad about the lady he's debating about against. It's crazy.
No matter how powerful these women were, they were still under the authority of their male family members. Or
do you notice what he says? Don't care how powerful these women were. They were under the rulership of their male family member or
male political authorities.
Male political authorities. But let's read something from the Quran. Let's read what the Quran says. And you will see that the Quran is a book of stupidity and a book only fit for a Pikachu, a guy like Pikachu and Ilhan Omar. If you look at what the reason, that this Quran give that men are superior to women, you will see that the women who have money make the God look like a donkey. The women who already have money makes this God look like a donkey. And you will see that this God is a stupid, senseless God. Muhammad was married to a woman they claim have money by inheritance. And I think Muhammad wanted to stop that from happening. If you notice what Muhammad say in the Quran, the inheritance of the male child is twice that of the woman. Because Muhammad didn't want to have women in power be so powerful like his ex-wife was. Do you know that when Muhammad was dying on his bed, when Muhammad's wife was dying on his bed, Muhammad go to his wife and whisper to her, when you see my wife's plural, when you see my wife's in Jannah, I'm paraphrasing, honor them. He already have planned. This woman, a single wife, he had a single wife. And the woman is dying, and Muhammad go to the woman and said, when you see my wives in Jannah, you must honor them. I'm paraphrasing, but it's something similar. When you see my wife in Jannah, say hi to them, show them respect or something like that. What is that telling you? Muhammad hated the power of the woman over him. Because on her dying bed, you're telling a woman about wives that you're going to have. Wives that you're going to have. Muhammad was callous and an evil bastard, man. Listen to this here. Men have authority over women because God has made the one superior to the other. And because they spend their wealth to maintain them. Do you see what the stupid God is saying? Because men are superior because they spend their wealth to maintain them. But if the woman have more wealth than the man, how is the man superior to her? So Allah make them superior over the other. Yeah? But another reason is, and because they spend their wealth to maintain them. So if the woman have wealth, guess what? It's like half and half. Oh, you're made superior, but because you don't have any wealth and I have the wealth, then I'm superior. I'm equal with you. In a sense, that woman could say that to any man. Because what? This Quran verse is stupid. The reason a man in the Bible, the reason the man is head of the woman is not because of the wealth of the man, and not it's because that's how God ordained it. That's how God choose it. That's how God choose it. Not because, oh, one is this and one is that. It even, if you read from Muhammad and the Hadith and all that, it shows that one of the reasons the man is superior to the woman is because Allah make the woman less intelligent than the man. We get into that as we listen to Pikachu. We'll get into that. And this is Quran 4, verse 34. This is the beginning part of Quran 4, verse 34. The same Quran verse that say you can beat the woman. This is the beginning of it. Men are superior to women on account of the qualities in which God had gifted the one above the other, and on account of the outlay they make for their substance for them. So that's Radwell. It's a non-Muslim translation. So you see, men are superior to women, and part of the reason they are superior to women is because they spend their wealth on the women. But what if the woman is wealthy already? This shows that Islam is from an idiot. Let me see what it says. Wow, this is amazing. When the chicken making cockatoo, the chicken was praying to Allah. So Allah will protect the chicken from bad things. Bro, you're funny, man. Okay. Allah will also get part of the booty. Right. Because Allah is Muhammad. Allah is Muhammad ego. Brother, how did you learn so much? You learn, I'm telling you, a lot of what I learned from Sam Shamoun, to be real with you. A lot of what I learned from him. A lot of, and I research for myself, but most of what I learned is from Sam Shamoun. He's God gift to us in a lot of ways, he's knowledgeable and he does great research. So let's get into this part where Pikachu.
But when we talk about women's education today, we have to realize what women's education means. When feminists push women's education, what they want is for women to gain power so they can be equal to men. Feminists want women to gain power in the family so that they can be equal to their husbands. Feminists want women to gain power in society so that women can be equal to men in becoming president.
I'm a feminist, but I don't want women to gain because I want them to be equal. Equal in what way is this idiot talking about? Well, this idiot say equal. A man can never be equal to a woman, and a woman can never be equal to a man. But yes, still, as a human being, as a human, there should never be a treatment to a woman in society that is not the same treatment to a man. But they can never be equal. A man can never be a mother. A woman can never be a father. A woman can never father a child, and a man can never mother a child. You can never. You don't have a vagina, you don't have sexual organ, you cannot do what a woman do. This likewise, a woman can never do what a man do because he don't have male sexual organs. The role that a man play in life, a woman cannot play that role. And a man cannot play the woman's role either. But are their roles, should their roles be looked upon as equal? Yes. Even though they have different roles, should their roles be looked upon as equal? Yes. And the Bible says so. Why I know the Bible says so? He says, husband, love your wife as you love yourself. So the wife is subjected to the husband, but the husband needs to love the wife as he loves himself. So the subjection is a body of love, like a total body of love. So if you love the wife as you love yourself, in some cases, you will be subjected to her, and in other cases she will be subjected to you. Because if you love her like you love yourself, you must make her play a role in life. And a part of a woman's role in life is to be educated. Totally be educated. Because what? A man alone can't do this. Men alone, we see where it reaches to a point where men alone cannot do this. And that's why the Muslim society will never advance as fast as the other societies will advance. Why? Because a man alone can never do this. Men alone can never do this. Look at the Muslim societies today. Look at the Muslim societies today, and you will see. Coronavirus hit us. What Muslim country make any pill or make any vaccine? Which one? Because what? They are stifling women's brain. They have women hiding. Some of these women are way more intelligent than these men, and they have them hiding in the back room, cooking camel meat and couscous. Have these women with very intelligent women hiding in the back room, cooking camel meat and couscous. You know, so this is why you see they're not advancing. Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, what stops Saudi Arabia from advancing in technology and other things? Nothing at all. But why are they not advancing? Because what? They are the religion that they uphold, and the fact that they are what should I say? Imprisoning the mind of women. Women are in prison in those countries. But let's make him continue, because this guy is going to reveal some very damning things, man.
Presidents and prime ministers. That is the purpose of pushing women's education.
So women should not be president and prime ministers. Wow. Women should not be president and prime ministers. And this is why the gospel and the New Testament does not divide the New Testament divide the church from the secular world. In the secular world can do whatever the secular world do. The wheat and the tears grow together until the day of harvest. But the church is the church. But Islam want to be a political system and a religious system at the same time. And this is why it's dangerous. That's why it is a dangerous religion, a very dangerous religion. So according to this Muslim, Ilhan Omar should never be a politician. Do you see that? According to this Muslim here, Ilhan Omar should never have been a politician. She should have been just a little housewife running around wearing a hijab, covering her face, not even showing her face.
It is about gaining power and gender equality. But again, this is discouraged by Islam. Islam has a social blueprint that requires male authority over women on every level of human society.
Every level of women's society. Every level of human society, the male is above the women. I advise you guys to look up on this video. Look up this video where the Taliban took over Afghanistan. And when you look and see this lady, brave lady, went and interviewed the Taliban. And it's I think she's from Australia. I think she's from Australia. So the women went and interviewed the Taliban, and the it was so surprising that women were being beaten over there and have no representative. They were being beaten, and male were their representative, and all the cases were being thrown out of court. Because of the male dominance in the society. The courts were dominated by male. The lawyers, the people representing the people were male. So at the end of the day, the woman lost. The woman was at a loss. Because when you have a society like that, the woman is at a loss. And you see where Muhammad did the same thing. Because when that man was beating his wife till she was green, according to Aisha and the Hadith, when Aisha told Muhammad about it, and Muhammad tried the case, Muhammad used a monkey court and allowed the man to go free, beating his wife. Because this is how it is. This is how it is. And it's so funny that the woman actually went to the Taliban. She went there and interviewed them, interviewed the Taliban. And it was very, very, very disturbing to see how these women were beaten and have no one, broken arms, and have no one to represent them, because the whole totality is represented by men. The whole thing was represented by men. I was trying to find the video so I could show you guys the video. I can't remember the name of the news reporter. And I think if I put women rights, it might come up. Yeah, this might be the one. This might be the one here. I think it might be that CNN one. Clarissa Ward. I think, yeah, that CNN one, Clarissa Ward. The Taliban told me to stand to the side because I'm a woman. So you see the difference, the treatment of women. Taliban says we'll respect women's right, press freedom. That's when they just take over. They say they will respect women's right. But what is respecting women's right in Islam? Suppressing women. That's what respecting women's right is, suppressing women. Totally suppressing women. Clarissa Ward presses Taliban fighter and treatment of women. So that might be the interview, because I remember she actually was right there in Afghanistan when she was doing the interview. So let's continue with Mr. Pikachu.
When it comes to family, when it comes to politics, when it comes to religious leadership, women's empowerment through education is completely contrary to this. So
a woman should not have education because they shouldn't be a politician, they shouldn't be a ruler. The religion of Islam forbids women to go to school. That's what he literally telling you. Forbid. And we're gonna play. We're not gonna play what the woman is responding. We're gonna play out what the woman said. The woman even used sources where she says women were doing this and women were doing that, women were doing all these things. And one case, the woman said this lady was a teaching man and she was this and she was that and she was this. You know what Daniel Haqiqatjou says? He says, no, it was not so. That's a false report. He says the woman was in charge of beating women who doesn't wear their veil. So the woman, this lady right here on the screen, Safa Sabrine, she mentioned the name of a woman who was like a politician or some leader in some ways. And Daniel Haqiqatjou said to her, no, you are ignorant of what you're talking about. The woman was actually in charge of beating women who does not wear their veil. So she's citing women who were empowered during the time of the caliphate. And that Daniel Haqiqatjou said, no, that woman was in charge of beating women who don't wear the veil, who don't wear the hijab and the whatever ninja outfit. Just listen to this. He actually decimate her, like literally decimate her.
Now, Islam has no problem with women studying their religion for the purpose of teaching their children or other women or out of personal interest. In fact, there's nothing better than women studying deen for the specific purpose of raising strong Muslim children.
Do you hear that? So the purpose for a woman is to have children and studying Islam so she can raise them to be just like Daniel Haqiqatjou. Just like that, misogynist, to raise them to raise up these men to become misogynists, male misogynists. There is no room. So the room for Ilhan Omar is to raise up strong children, study the Quran, and raise up strong children so they can grow up to be like Daniel Haqiqatjou, a misogynist. Wow.
But this type of education is very domestic, and it has nothing to do with gaining power or creating equal religious authority between men and women.
So the religion that you have, the teaching that you have is only to promote Islam, to promote the man's agenda. Nothing about uplifting yourself, nothing about getting nowhere. And if you're so unfortunate to marry to a dumb man whose brain cannot take education and whose hand is not fit to do a trade, guess what? You live your life in poverty forever. You live your life in poverty forever. So you are an intelligent woman who have the ability to go to Harvard University and to make good of yourself and to live a prosperous life while still respecting God under the Christian fold. But you must go for Islam where you cannot go to school and your husband is not educated, doesn't have the mental ability to attain any education, so you live in poverty and under the system all the days of your life. And guess what? If you are the kind of Muslim who have multiple children, like some of these Muslims have multiple children, so here you are, you have 4, 5, 6 children, and with a man who can properly provide for you, and guess what? You have the brain to provide, but you can't because of this system here.
But feminists have weaponized studying religion. They have weaponized this use of the word empowerment, which you cannot find anywhere in the Quran, Sunnah, or scholarly tradition. It is purely a feminist invention.
So there is nowhere in them that say empower women. Wow. So nothing in Islam that says empower women. Empower women doesn't mean that you empower women to be above men. When I say above men, I mean, even though a woman is a doctor and you may be, say, a store clerk, you marry to a doctor, that doesn't mean that under Christianity, that doesn't mean that the doctor is above the store clerk in the home. She only above the people in her workforce. Whoever she's above in her workforce. Coming home, she's coming home to a place where the husband, she's subjected to her husband, and her husband is to love her like he loved himself. That's what Christianity teach. But Christianity don't stop a woman from advancing, because what? All of us have a role to play in society, and our role is to care for the greater good of society. So if the man cannot do something, the woman have the ability to do it, the woman does it. In many societies, and that's why I said Islam is not fit for every society. In many societies, the men will go out and do certain job. Like even in the society back then, when men were hunters, who were the one planting the food? The women were the one planting the food while the men were the hunters in a lot of these societies. So everybody was playing their role. People were playing their role in the society. But according to Islam, the woman must be at home while the man go out and hunt. But this man don't have the ability to hunt as good as the woman. He don't have the brain to hunt as good as the woman, but the woman must sit home and listen to him and listen to his way of life, and be in poverty and devastation all the days of her life. All the days of her life, and listen to his way of life. And you know how powerful a man feel when he know he can break down some of these men. When I say a man, I'm talking about these people. Feel when you can break down an intelligent woman to the level of where Muhammad put the intelligent woman. Let me show you where Muhammad put the intelligent woman. And when you can take that woman down to that ignorant level, then Islam will prosper. Anytime you can take that woman down to that ignorant level, then guess what? Islam is going to dominate the world. Anytime you can take a woman down to this ignorant level. Listen to this. Abu Sayyid al-Khudri narrated Abu Sayyid al-Khudri. The Prophet said, "Isn't the witness of a woman equal to half that of a man?" The women said, yes. He said, "This is because of the deficiency of the woman's mind." Sahih al-Bukhari, book 3, hadith 48, number 826. So if these Muslim men can make your mind deficient, that's the only way Islam will prosper. Because a woman doesn't have a deficiency in her mind. And so that her witness is weaker than that of a man. She doesn't have that. A woman is just as good as witness as a man is a witness. But if Islam could suppress the woman to this point where the witness of a woman is half of that of a man, because she have a deficiency in her mind, then Islam will prosper. But people like Daniel Haqiqatjou is fighting against that, because Islam will never be dominant if they don't suppress women. If they don't suppress women in the West, Ilhan Omar realized the only way to sell Islam is to pretend as if she never heard that women are not supposed to be leaders over men, or she never heard that before. Ilhan Omar will pretend that, and pretend as if women, Islam promote that Muslim are equal to men. Muslim are equal to non-Muslim, and Muslim women are equal to Muslim men. That's what she will promote. But Daniel Haqiqatjou is selling the real Islam because he have nothing to hide. His wife is already subjected to him. His educated Harvard University wife is already subjected to him. So he have nothing to lose. He was able to dominate her and rule her mind. So what left for him to do? Tell you what he does in his own soul. So at the end of the day, if you look at it, what Daniel is selling is where Islam can reinvent the wheel to stop women from going to school so that women will remain stupid. So that because Muhammad realized that his dominance can only remain in place if women are subjected. If women are not subjected, his dominance will never be. His dominance would never be. Do you see? His wife were even rebelling against him. He have wives who were rebelling against him. He had wife who were rebelling against him. Do you remember when Sada, I think it's Sada and Aisha was against him to the point where Umar had to come in and give Allah a Quran verse. Umar came in, give Allah a Quran verse. And Umar actually boasted that Allah agreed with him in 3 things. Let me show you here. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. So here it is. Umar boasted. Sahih al-Bukhari. My Lord agreed with me in 3 things. I said, O Allah, I wish you took the station of Abraham as our praying place. So that's the first one. Number 2. And that, so Umar was the one who gave Surah 2, verse 125. No, the other thing. And as regard to the verse of veiling of the woman. So Umar is the one who gave the verse of veiling. And that is, I can't remember what surah is that. The verse of veiling. So Umar gave the verse of veiling. And number 3, once the wife of the prophet made a united front against the prophet. So they unite against Muhammad because Muhammad was living his life dirty and they did not like it. So they unite against him. And this is what happened. And I, Umar, said to them, it may be if the prophet divorce you all, that he is the Lord Allah will give him instead of you wives better than you. Listen to what Umar said. So the verse, the same as I had said, was revealed. Which verse is that? Surah 66, verse 5. Surah 66, verse 5. So these women were seeing that there is some I almost use the S word, but there was some shite in Muhammad. There was some shite in Muhammad. He was crooked. He was a con artist, a 419. They did not have the regard for him as they should have for him if he was a good husband. So they take a united front against him because what he was doing, he was exploiting them. And they realized that he was exploiting them. So Umar had to give Allah a Quran verse to re-subjugate the women. Because guess what? If Muhammad divorced them and take other women, guess what? Nobody could marry to them. You would hear another Quran verse says, no, it would be called Surah, what is it? Surah 0.7. No one can marry to the mother of the believers. That if he divorced one of them, nobody could marry to them, because do you notice that after Muhammad died, no one could marry to his wives? No one at all could marry to his wives. No one. Aisha was 18 years old when Muhammad died, and from 18 to her death, Muhammad tied her off and shut her down. She was like a storefront in an abandoned town. Shut down forever, never to be resurrected. Muhammad was a cold-hearted killer, man. Cold-hearted killer.
The feminist sheikhas push women to study religion so that these women can sit on masjid boards equally with men, and can serve on fatwa councils equally with men, and become community leaders and influencers equally with men.
Now, what is wrong with that? Now, what I want to know now, what is wrong with that? If a woman can become community leader equal with men, what is wrong with it? What is wrong with that? As long as they are unsubjected by the law of Islam, what is wrong with that? That's why I show you Muhammad realized something. He realized something. Subjugate the woman and the religion will last. Use force, use violence, and the religion will be dominant. Subjugate the women and the religion will last. It's the reality. Jehovah's Witnesses, they did the same thing. Look at the Jehovah's Witness on the way they treat women, and you will see. Subjugate women, and you will see what happens. Subjugate them. Jehovah's Witnesses actually teach against education. Do you know that? You guys don't even know this. Jehovah's Witnesses, just like this guy, he's teaching against women education. Jehovah's Witnesses actually teach against education, just the same way. They teach against education. Cults will teach you either one form of against education. Because what? An educated Muslim man, because of his gain, he has so much to gain over an educated Muslim woman. An educated Muslim man has so much to gain. An uneducated Muslim man has so much to gain. You know why? Because he is over, even though he's dumb as a dumbbell, he is dominating over his woman totally. He could take another woman into the house of his wife, and the wife have to shut up and be dumb as a doorbell, just like him. I said a doorknob. He's dumb as a dumbbell. The woman have to be dumb, because if the woman is not dumb when he bring in that new wife, guess what? She get her butt whooped, according to Surah 4, verse 34. If she don't agree with him and marrying a new wife when he want a new wife. But they all made up all these new modern rule and say, hey, the women have to, the woman must agree that with the new wife. No, she don't have to agree with the new wife, because Aisha did not agree with women coming offering themselves to Muhammad. Why do you think that Aisha says, he seems like your Lord able to fulfill your desire? She did not agree with what Muhammad was doing. She did not agree with Muhammad writing Quranic verse, giving himself all these women. Aisha was so mad when he see the women coming to Muhammad, offering themselves to Muhammad. She said, can a woman offer herself to a man? Because the society that she was coming from is a man who proposed to a woman. But because of Muhammad have the women proposing to men. Only that role a woman can play. Sexual role. Come propose, when the law was I propose. So now the woman can dominate in that sense. Come give herself to you. She can dominate in that sense. only for Muhammad. The verse actually say, only for you, so that there will be no discomfort. What a pimp for himself. Muhammad was, let me tell you, Muhammad have two egos. You know, two ego. And one of his ego is like just a regular dude going down the street. The other ego is called Allah. The other ego is called Allah. And that ego is listening to Umar. Umar says something, oh, that sounds nice. Boom! Here comes a verse. So guess what? Then Umar feel like he's a Dan Dada. Umar said, hey, I give Allah verses. Allah agree with me in three things. and the three things, guess what? Only one of them doesn't have something to do with women. Do you notice? Only one of them doesn't have something to do with women. And who does it have something to do with? The Jews. The Jews. Because Muhammad was about subjugating women, dominating the society, and subjugating the Jews. When the Jews didn't believe in him, he was bowing towards Jerusalem. And when the Jews didn't believe in him, he invented a stupidity that the Kaaba was made by Ishmael and Abraham, so that Umar, in his stupidness, could say, let us turn to the station of Abraham. the Kaaba that the pagans used to circumambulate naked, automatically become the station of Abraham. How? We don't know. History? We have none. That is Islam for you, man. Islam in a nutshell.
It may sound paradoxical, but by studying Deen for these empowerment purposes, they are actually acting contrary to Deen. So this is the type of women's education I oppose, whether it is secular or religious, whether it is in a college or a seminary. I know what many of you might be thinking. Isn't empowering women a good thing? Isn't it shameful to claim that Islam is against empowering women through education? Not at all. We live in unprecedented times where women have more wealth, more education, more power than they have at any other point in human history. But look around. Look.
Okay. So he said we're living in time when women have more wealth. Allah never see these times. And that's why I said Allah is not a god. Allah is a donkey, the other side of Muhammad. Allah never see these times. Because if Allah had seen these times, then Allah's law would more be like the law given by Paul. Because Allah didn't see these times. Because in these times, you cannot do to women as you do in the time of Muhammad. And that's why you know that Allah never see these times. Allah never see these times. Because Allah is just a 7th century caravan robber. The ego of a 7th century, the possessed mind of a 7th century caravan robber. That's who Allah is. So Allah never see the time when women would, in this time. Allah never see Ilhan Omar. Allah never see a woman like her. He never see the time of Ilhan Omar. Allah never see this time. And that's why Allah is so rigid in his law, because it was set for the time. It was set for the time you could beat your wife. Can you beat Ilhan Omar? Can Pikachu, I would like to know if Pikachu can beat Ilhan Omar. Can Pikachu beat Ilhan Omar? As for those whose misconduct you fear, first advise, oh yeah, beat your wife. Can Ilhan Omar beat, no, can Pikachu in America beat Ilhan Omar? If Ilhan Omar was Pikachu's wife, if Pikachu's wife decided, hey, I'm not listening to you. I'll go to Harvard. I'm going back to school. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do this. Can he beat his wife and get away with it? No, he can't. He cannot beat his wife. So why is it that Allah didn't see this time? Why is it that Allah didn't see this time and made law according to this time? Because Allah is a donkey. Allah is a donkey. A straight up donkey. Allah never see this time. Allah see a time when you can beat your wife and get away with it. Muhammad allow, according to the Quran, see my brother here, cite the verse right here. As for those who whose misconduct you fear, first advise them, and if they and if ineffective, keep away from them in bed. That means you don't have sex with them, and as the last resort, beat them. That is Surah 4, verse 34. But Allah, how does this work in America? Can you beat your wife in American society? No, you can't beat your wife. So how is Allah? What is wrong with Allah? Allah is a donkey, a straightforward donkey. Like, the dumbest of all donkeys. And this is why when we look at it, if you listen to Ilhan Omar pushing her agenda in America, she pushing her agenda in America while her brother is saying that she is not a Muslim, really. She is not supposed to be empowered. She's not supposed to have rulership over men.
Let's find out. Surah 48, verse 29. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those who are with him are severe against disbelievers and merciful among themselves.
So you see what the verse says? Those who are with Muhammad are severe against disbeliever and merciful among themselves. Opposite of merciful is what? What is the sin? What they call it? Antonym? Is that what they call it? Antonym for antonym for mercy. Opposite of mercy. What is it? Let's look. Let's see. Here we go. Let's look. Hindrance, hurdle, impediment, interference, obstacle. So those are near antonyms. So when they are severe, so you would be an obstacle in the way of other people. So if you look at courtesy, is mercy involve courtesy. So you won't be courteous to a non-Muslim, really, because that's what he's saying. You would not show any favor to a non-Muslim because mercy means favor. You wouldn't show any grace, you indulgence, no kindness, no servitude, no service. That's what that means. Hard-heartedness, mercilessness, pitilessness, ruthlessness, and uncharitableness, reprisal, requital, retaliation, retribution, revenge, vengeance, venom, vindictiveness, virulence, all that. You see that? Barbarity, brutality, cruelty, sadism, savageness, savagery, viciousness, violence, wantonness, punishment, chastisement. Do you see all that stuff? That's the opposite of not showing mercy. So when it says be severe, that's what it is actually saying. When you're severe against the disbeliever and merciful among yourself. So that's the opposite. If you're merciful among yourself alone, He will not show the unbeliever any mercy. And that's why Surah, what is it? Surah 9, verse 29 says, fight against those who disbelieve in Allah. Even, I'm paraphrasing, even the people of the book. That means even the Jews and the Christians. You disbelieve in Allah, you fight against. And let me actually read it. Surah 9:29. Let's see what it says. Fight those who do not believe in Allah or the last days, and who do not consider unlawful what Allah and his messenger have made unlawful, and who do not adopt the religion of truth. That means if you do not adopt the religion of truth from those who were given the scripture, fight until they give jizya willingly while they are humbled. So what is jizya really? Jizya is to show that, hey, I humiliate you. You are bowing down to me, you know, because if you notice what Pictal says, until they pay the tribute readily, being brought low. So fight people. This is what, but if you listen to Ilhan Omar, she's talking about bigotry, fight against bigotry. Islam is bigotry. Islam is bigotry. They are just selling us a watered down version of Islam. But if they were to gain any power here, you would see what the real Islam is, what Daniel Haqiqatjou is selling, what the Taliban is selling. Look at the Taliban. The Taliban get a reason to prove to the Western world that Islam makes sense. And look what they're doing to women over there. Watch the video, the CNN video. Watch the CNN video, and you see it's a direct interview, so it's not a lie. Right in the face, you see the Taliban man speaking. You see they speak to women. You see where they go and speak to the Taliban leader, and the Taliban leader says, women cannot be judges. Just like Daniel Haqiqatjou says, a woman should never be a judge. That's exactly what the Taliban believe. So where did Daniel Haqiqatjou get it from? Where did Daniel Haqiqatjou get it from? He got it from Islamic law and Islamic jurisprudence. If he didn't get it from there, how is he saying the same thing that the Taliban is saying? Because they are following the same law. They are following the same law.
Those who are with Muhammad, i.e. Muslims, are, according to the Quran, severe against disbelievers, i.e. non-Muslims, and merciful only among themselves. And we see in the hadith that Muhammad ordered his followers to mistreat non-Muslims simply for being non-Muslims.
Yes. Yes. You leave Islam, he said, kill those who abandon Islam. Muhammad was just terrible. Even Muhammad mistreat his own fellow Muslim. That's how bad that man was.
For instance, in Bukhari's Al-Adab al-Mufrad, 1103, we read, Abu Huraira reported that the Prophet, may Allah blah 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 blah, said, do not...
Allah can't do crap.
give the people of the book, Jews and Christians, the greeting first, force them to the narrowest part of the road.
Wow. Wow. Force them to the narrowest part of the road. But they would sell this man as this man was a nice person. And they would say, oh, this is not Sahih. This is not this. This is not. No. These are Muslims narrating these stuff. Abu Huraira. Who was Abu Huraira?
So, according to Muhammad and the Quran, non-Muslims are the worst of creatures. Muslims are the best of peoples. Muslims are commanded to be severe against non-Muslims, merciful only among themselves. Non-Muslims are to be actively abused simply for being non-Muslims. That's obviously religious-based bigotry. What did Congresswoman Ilhan Omar say?
But I believe as Americans, we should stand united against all forms of bigotry.
So guess what? This woman put America above Islam. And that's why I tell you, Islam in America is nothing. It's shirk. It's shirk, it's everything. Because what? She put Islam above, she put America above Islam. So who is her God? Who is her God right there? Who is Ilhan Omar God? Allah or America? My brother said this bill is already practiced in Pakistan, Somalia, Afghanistan. She free to move there. Wow, that's true. But guess what? They don't want to go there. They want the joy of the West. They want the privilege of the West and the things that they can get, the food at their fingertip, the car to drive, the easy life. But guess what? They want to force their stupidity upon you and tell you not to ridicule their stupidity. But at the same time, they love, they straddle in the fence. That's what they do. They straddle in the fence. Notice she put America above Muhammad and Allah. Because David read from the Quran, 2 verses from the Quran, and then he go to the Hadith. 2 verses from the Quran and go to the Hadith. So what this woman do? He put America above his God. Say America, in America we must stand up and fight against bigotry. So if we are fighting against bigotry, we would be fighting against the Quran. And that's why that woman is a confused person. And can you imagine? She called herself a leader. She's so confused. She's an idiot, a total idiot, for real. Total idiot. Because she selling an agenda that she don't even know. It's like, hey, somebody give me a basket and say, hey, go down the street and sell this for me. And I say, what's in it? And they say, fish. And I walk down the street, I say, fresh fish, fresh fish. And when I got there, man, and somebody said, hey, send me a pound of the fresh fish. When I open to sell, I don't have no fish in there. It's something. That's what you see when you listen to these politicians, man. That's what you see. Crazy as hell, man. Islam is a crazy, crazy, crazy religion. Totally crazy. Not fit for nobody, man. Not fit for nobody.
Now, if Islam is clearly a form of bigotry, and Ilhan Omar says that Americans need to unite against all forms of bigotry, this can only mean that Ilhan Omar is calling on Americans to unite against Islam.
Yes. And this is the thing about it. God will let them speak. God will let idiots like Ilhan Omar speak. Because what you going to learn? What you going to learn from a woman like that? Nothing at all. All you're going to learn, if you already are learned, all you're going to learn from her is that she's naive. Totally naive. She's a very, very naive person. Very naive, and maybe that's why Daniel Haqiqatjou says not to go to school. Because if you're going to school, if you're going to school and this is the level that you stoop to, what kind of level is that? Like, you go to school and you're talking about bigotry, but yet still your religion is the most bigot religion ever. The most bigot religion ever. Calling people the worst of creature because they don't believe in it. And telling people to be harsh to people who don't believe in it, and to be merciful to themselves and harsh to the people who don't believe in it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we need Daniel Haqiqatjou to advise her husband to beat her, to beat sense in her, because to follow Surah 44 verse 34 and beat sense in her. I don't know, because but then she gonna go to her God America. Her God is America, so she gonna call her God America, pray to her God by going to the court, call the police. That's how she prayed to her God. She called the police, and then her husband get arrested. Islam is a mess, man. Unfit for today's world. Islam is not for today's society. It's a backward, stupid religion.
But that would be Islamophobia, which makes Ilhan Omar an Islamophobe. Let's listen to some more of her comments.
Because it is important, Madam Speaker.
It is important. That's not how you speak. It is important
That we live in a world where everyone is free of persecution based on their religious background and
oh, wow. She's totally against Muhammad.
beliefs. And until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is.
Wow.
Until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is. Statements like that are what scholars refer to as gobbledygook. It's like saying, until everyone is a billionaire, no one is. Until everyone can read.
That's true. And why is it that Vladimir Putin is selling the same agenda as Ilhan Omar? Why is it that you have Vladimir Putin telling you not to criticize Islam? Why? Something going on, man.
No one can. Until everyone marries a Kardashian, no one has. But let's ignore the stupidity of her claim and take it seriously for no reason. Once again, we find Congresswoman Ilhan Omar brutally attacking Islam. In Sahih Muslim 4366, Muhammad proclaimed, I will expel the Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula and will not leave any but Muslim.
Yes. Yes. And let me add another one. It's a long time he wants to do that stuff. This is not the first time he said that. Let me add another one to what David said. Oh, Muhammad was bothering the Jews and just disrupting their peaceful life. Let me show you another one. Let me read another one to you. Narrated Abu Huraira. Okay, let me see where we're going now. Narrated Abu Huraira, while we were at the mosque, the Prophet came out and said, let us go to the Jews. So you came from your mosque and said, let's go to the Jews. We went until we reached Beit ul Madras. He said to them, if you embrace Islam, you will be safe. You should know that the earth belongs to Allah and his apostle, and I want to expel you from the land. So if any amongst you own some property, he is permitted to sell it. Otherwise, you should know the earth belongs to Allah and his apostle. So sell your land and run, or embrace Islam and embrace Islam, or else you won't be safe, or sell your land and run away, because he want to expel you from the peninsula. And you know where you find that? You find that in Sahih Bukhari, volume 9, book 85, number 77. See that? Or is that Sahih Bukhari, volume 4, book 53, number 392. So you could find it in both. So this is Islam for you in a nutshell. This is what Islam is about.
Notice, these Jews and Christians had to be expelled simply because of their religion.
Yes.
Non-Muslims also had to be fought simply for being non-Muslims.
Yes.
Surah 9, verse 123 of the Quran. O you who believe, fight those of the disbelievers who are close to you, and let them find harshness in you.
In you. Fight them and they find harshness in you. Why does that sound like Surah 9, verse 29? The same thing. And fight those who are close to you. Even your own family member. If they are disbeliever, fight them and let them find harshness. You remember the verse that David quoted before that says, be severe to the disbeliever and be merciful to yourself. Remember what one of the antonyms for mercy is? You have all these antonyms that I quoted, and one of the antonyms for mercy is hard-heartedness, pitilessness, ruthlessness. You see those names? Look at this: revenge, vengeance, venom, brutality, cruelty, barbarity, savageness, sadism. See, those are the things that Islam promotes against other people. But this idiot, Ilhan Omar, is here talking about talking about bigotry. What is the most biggest thing, thing on in the world? Islam is. Listen to these verses that you see. What society can people live normal? If anybody should read this and do something and it goes to a Sharia court, it's in Afghanistan against an unbeliever in Afghanistan, what do you think going to happen? What do you think going to happen to the unbeliever? Nothing at all. No, they let go of the man and let him go free. Because he could say, hey, Surah 9, 20 and 123 told me to do it. And Surah 9, 29 told me to do it.
You. Sahih Muslim number 31. Muhammad says, I have been commanded to fight against people till they testify to the fact that there is no God but Allah, and believe in me, that I am the messenger from the Lord, and in all that I have brought. And when they do it, their blood and riches are guaranteed protection on my behalf, except where it is justified by law, and their affairs rest with Allah.
Notice where it says, except where it is justified by law. What law? He's talking about the law of 2:178. The law of 2:178. Surah 2:178. That's a law where you say a slave for a slave, retaliation for the dead, for murder is a slave for a slave, a freeman for a freeman, a woman for a woman. That's law, what he's talking about. But he also says, Muhammad also says, the Muslim should not be killed for the unbeliever.
So Muhammad was commanded to fight people until they become Muslims. What if someone wants to leave Islam and become a Christian? Well, in Sunan an-Nasai 4066, Muhammad commands, whoever changes his religion, kill him.
So whoever changes his religion, but listen to this woman. So you're free to do this, and you're free to practice your religion. So if you're free to practice your religion, you're free to leave Islam and go to another religion, because that's what America allows. In the law of America, you're free to leave Islam and go to Christianity. Are you free to leave Christianity and be a Muslim? The law of America allows for that. But the law of Islam doesn't allow for that. So what is Ilhan Omar talking about? She's a show in the front. She's a face card. You know, she's a face card. She's like a joker. she looking like a face card, but she have no value. She have no value, really. She does not. She don't value Islam and she don't value America. She don't. She's right there straddling the fence. She don't know. She confused. She's confused. She don't know. She love America. She love the life in America. She will hold on to that. She don't love America. She love the life that she have holding on to here. But she's still trying to hold on to Islam. Islam and America don't get along. We can never get along. The true Islam and America will never get along because the Constitution of America is against Islam. Islam cannot live and practice. The real Islam cannot be practiced within the institution of America.
Is everyone free to practice their religion in Islam? No. But what did Congresswoman Ilhan Omar say?
And until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is.
Just, you know, I don't know. Remember one time Donald Trump, what did Donald Trump say? Go save your country or something. They need to go save their country and something like that. I didn't like what he says, but when you look back at these guys, this people like this woman, man, you see the fraudulent. She's such a fraud. She's such a fraud like Muhammad. She's just totally deceptive like Muhammad. And if Pikachu, I wonder what Pikachu would do if he would react to her video. What would he say to her? Let's go back to Pikachu and see what Pikachu have to say about this woman. You know, indirectly, what Pikachu, because Pikachu have something to say. We'll see what Pikachu have to say. Oh, I wish the politicians are watching and listening to David Wood video and the likes. Some of them will, I don't know who will. But let me see what Daniel Haqiqatjou have to say about this woman. Let me see what he continued to say about this woman. Then I will show you something. Daniel Haqiqatjou rebutted the woman and what the woman think of Daniel Haqiqatjou. And you tell me if Muhammad Hijab was fighting against that lady, calling the lady ultra crepidarian and academic charlatan. What do you think about Pikachu? I wonder what he think about Daniel Haqiqatjou. Not Haqiqatjou, but Pikachu. Let's see.
Look at the grave consequences of this. According to the UN, women have made massive strides in education. In some regions, women now are spending double or triple the amount of time pursuing education as they were 50 years ago. In the Middle East and Africa and North Africa, 50 years ago, women spent on average 5 years in school. Now,
do you see what idiot? This guy is a straight up tool, a straight up idiot, a straight up donkey, whatever the word tool means in that case. But this guy is a straight up donkey. 50 years ago in Africa is not the same as 50 years ago in now. 50 years ago in Africa is not the same as 50 years ago now. And how do we know that? We got to look at studies. You got to look at studies. So this is by the United Nations. The UN, it said UN Chronicles. The importance. So he is looking at United Nations status, statistics. But this is what the United Nations have here. Let me make you guys see it here, just to show you how stupid this guy is. Look what the United Nations says. So he's quoting the United Nations as if the United Nations is against women education. No, the United Nations is not against women education in Africa. No, it's not. Women are supposed to be educated. Notice what the United Nations says: the importance of educating girls and women, the fight against poverty in African rural communities. And if you read it, you will see the difference educating women have made in these communities, where women can go out and get jobs to bring in revenue into these poor, poverty-stricken communities where children used to die and all this. And not only that, women are educating themselves, stopping themselves from dying. Because before education of women, women used to have children at very, very tender age. 12-year-old got pregnant, but because of education, women are having children at later age. When a 12-year-old got pregnant, guess what? Baby dies in rural Africa because what? They don't have the treatment that they have, facilities that they have in the Western world. So baby dies. A baby that is born premature dies. Because most of the time when kids have kids, the baby become premature. And not only the baby dies, but the mother dies too. So the United Nations is showing you that there is so much good in educating women in Africa. Notice the idiot mentioned Africa. Do you notice that the idiot mentioned Africa? So that's why, not because I'm black, but that may play a role, but also because of the demographic of Africa and the poverty level of African continent. It's not, African continent can never be compared to the United States, and it can never be compared to Europe, can never be compared to Australia and other continents. And other continents. It can never be compared to these places. You cannot compare these. It's apples and what should I say? It's like you're comparing a mango with a cockroach. That's what it's like he's doing. That's an idiot. The system in America is way more advanced than it is to the kind of life that people were living. The life that people were living, they weren't supposed to be living that life. That's squalor. They were living in squalor. But education kind of take people out of the squalor. Because what? What if you have a community and where women are more than men? In most community, women are more than men. In most community, women are more than men. And here you are, men are, there is no advance in the community. How do you advance the community? By educating women. By educating women, you advance the community and stop things. HIV, for example, was taking over Africa by rampage. And what happened? Education of women lessened HIV in many places. Because what? Women who are dedicated to their education are less likely to fall into the trap of where they end up with sexual transmitted disease like HIV. Because what? Your status goes up and you started looking at people, more meaningful people. Not that meaningful people cannot have HIV, but a lot of people who are uneducated in those countries end up with HIV above the ones that are educated. And it's a proven thing. It's a proven fact. It's a proven fact that, let's read something for here. Recent studies corroborate that camp-fed as observed and faster on the ground. Girls who complete primary and secondary education tend to marry later and have smaller families. Do you see that? Smaller family is better in those countries than bigger families because poverty is there. So you see this guy is a dumb donkey, man. Have smaller families and earn significant higher wages. That guy is a dumb, idiotic donkey. In every society, things happen and it's good and it's bad to it. Things happen in every society and there is good and bad to it. So Allah don't care about people having smaller families and poverty and eradicating poverty and earn higher wage. What Allah care about? What Allah care about? Listen, I'm gonna let Daniel Haqiqatjou tell you what Allah care about. Girls' education has been posited as a vaccine against HIV and AIDS. Do you see that? Girls' education, because an educated girl cannot fall into the trap of an idiotic man. Because most of the time in those countries, who give these women HIV? Idiotic men. Idiotic men give these women HIV in these rural parts. I'm not saying that there's not idiotic women who cause themselves to have HIV, but in most cases, I remember watching a documentary, and that was from what was a country near to Kenya? The country near to Kenya, I can't remember the name of the country near to Kenya. Why it slipped my mind, but it's not Zambia. It's not Zambia. It's one of the countries near to Kenya, where the men would go fishing on the lake. I think it's lake. What lake is a Lake Victoria? Lake something. They would go fishing on that lake, and the lake is huge, and they would go fishing out on the lake because they were fishermen. But they were gone for a certain amount of time. So what they would do, have sex in the communities that they were going there fishing in, and come back home to their wife and give their wife HIV. But educated women would not fall into that trap, because guess what? Their husband may not be fishermen. Their husband may have been somebody else, because somebody educated. So I used to see Daniel Haqiqatjou, what Daniel, the cartoon Pikachu do. His focus was only on women activity, not on what men were doing. His total focus was on women activities. And these things that he was citing was all the blame on women. And not realizing that in everything, men have an equal blame. All these citations, men have an equal blame to play. When you look at abortion in America, men have a blame in it. You think it's only women doing abortion? I'm totally against abortion. And is only women causing abortion? No. Men have a whole bunch to do with women and leading women to abortion. Men have a whole bunch to play in that role. If you look at abortion in America, let's look it up and see. And he's going to cite some stupidity. And when we look at abortion, he's going to talk about abortion. And what caused abortion? What is the number one cause of abortion? Poverty is the number one cause of abortion. Poverty is the number one cause of abortion. And I, from my own experience, when I look as a nurse, what I see cause a lot of abortion, men cause a lot of abortion. Men cause a lot of abortion. Because if men were stepping up in their role that they should play, there would not be any abortion. And fight for their children's life. There wouldn't be no abortion. And maybe there would be less abortion. But men are not fighting. They're not fighting enough. They leave the burden, everything upon the woman to fight. Oh, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. Yes, they shouldn't do that. But what about you? Keep your belt on your waist. And keep your plug away from the socket. That's what you need to do as a man. Keep your belt on your waist and keep your plug away from the socket. You plug in too much. Work on your battery now. Use your battery. Your charge. Go along your business until you're rightfully need to be plugged in according to the law of God. That's what I believe. But if you listen to the, as I say, if you listen to this makes so many sense. So it says, girls' education as being posited as the vaccine against HIV/AIDS with comparative analysis of data from Zambia, for example. And now you notice where it says from Zambia. And remember I said, I mentioned country beside Kenya. I think it is it, my God. Is it Uganda? I think it might be Uganda. Yeah, I think it might be Uganda. Yes, I think it might be Uganda. So Zambia and Uganda and Kenya were known back in those days as the place to study that kind of disease and the effect of that disease. And when you look at it, what you're seeing there, notice that, for example, Zambia, for example, that I'm sure it's also talking about Uganda, and non-educated and educated women showing a substantial difference in infection rate. Educating a girl changes her destiny. Do you see that? But this dumb Pikachu of his one-sided dumbness come here to talk about Islam because he selling the Islamic agenda, not the real agenda of what affecting women out here. You know, educating a woman changes her destiny. Yes, it does. It changed her destiny. Why it changed her destiny? Even in my country, Jamaica, if you were living in, say Belfield, I'm just using our community, say Belfield, and in Belfield, most of the people are laborers and this and that and that and that. Most cases you're going to marry to a laborer or a farmer. And when I talk about farmer, we're not talking about big scale farming like here in America. We're talking about people farming just to live. Sell a little bit there, but farming just to live. Just to make it. Don't have any money, just to eat food and just to live. That's basically. So those are the people that you would marry to. But when women started going to high school and coming out of high school, even coming out of high school in my country, you come out with a better ability to go out and get a job than if you didn't go to high school. Because if you graduate from high school and you actually graduate with what they call subjects, those subjects could land you into a job that pay you money to live above a certain mean, to live above the lower level that you would have been on if you were uneducated coming out of those society. And if you, what would your husband, what choosing your husband? Someone from the outside would have to come into your community and say, oh, I'm looking for a humble woman and marry to a woman from you and take you out of that community. And most of the time when they take you out of the community, they take you and go educate you. But you would have to marry to a man who is poor, and then two poor people coming together. Do you think if one poor person is taking care of himself, it's easier to take care of himself? But if you have a wife to take care of, how do you think that they survive? It's a difficult survival. And then children come in very early because you're not going to school. So there is no protection. People going to school have a more sense of purpose. So they will, hey, I ain't messing with him. You know, I'm going home to study. I ain't messing with that guy. I'm trying to be this. I'm trying to get there. So educating a girl, changing her destiny as well as those of her future children, which is true. And she will have less children. In a poverty-stricken places, you don't want to be having children. What does that do? You're creating children for the slum, and you're creating children for deviant behavior, because in poverty-stricken places, children resort to deviant behavior, and ensure that some can contribute to the economic life of the community, of her community. And that's what happened when you educate women. The economic life boom. There is a change in the economic life. Girls in rural area of Africa are excluded from education, not because of cultural resistance or unwillingness, but because of poverty, the main barrier to girls' education. So poverty is our enemy, but Islam have a God that loves poverty. Sudan and Egypt. Yes, brother. Sudan and Egypt. Yes, Sudan is one of them that, yeah. And so let me see what he say here. Thank you for always telling the whole truth and exposing Islam. Always will, bro. Always will. So you see, the God of Islam is a donkey and an idiot. Why I say he's a donkey and an idiot? Because he don't pay attention to, he don't have the ability to see what the future would have been. What would it have been if there was no education for these girls? Look in these countries now, and you see that women are more educated than men. Even in Jamaica, women are more educated than men nowadays. Women are going to school more than men. And what it does, it changes the dynamic of the society. Hey, upgrade yourself. Men, if you want to, that kind of woman, you have to upgrade yourself. So let me let you listen to what Pikachu is going to say. And you will see how Pikachu blaming women for everything that goes on. And you see that his education and his stupidity come from a small place.
About 13 years on average. In South Asia.
So a woman go to school 13 years on average. What? And a man going to school 13 years on average. So he's saying that, hey, a woman is not supposed to do what a man do. A woman is not supposed to do what a man do.
Asia, 50 years ago, women spent on average 4 years in school. Now they spend about 12. So
what does that, how is the Asian society crying to you that their society is messed up because women going to school? Is the Asian society crying to you, telling you that their society is messed up because women going to school?
It's tripled. Not only are women spending much more time in school than ever before, they have also overtaken men in total schooling time.
Do you see how misogynistic he is? They are even overtaking men. You know, who told you not to be as ambitious as a woman? Who tell you not to be as ambitious as a woman? If you want to spend 13 years in school, who is stopping you from doing that? Who is stopping you? Majority of the doctors nowadays in my country are women. So they spend more time in school than men. Majority of the doctors now in my country are women coming out of my country. Not that there is no male doctors, but majority are women. So they spend more time in school than most men. So what does that say to me? Oh, go girl, you go girl, because what? We need doctors in the society. And if these women did not step up when you have a pandemic and stuff like that, what kind of world would this be? What kind of world would this be? If what America go through to the pandemic was supposed to hit Saudi Arabia, what do you think would have happened over there? What do you think would have happened in a Muslim world where women are not educated during a pandemic? Wow.
Globally. This is due to the fact that in most countries, there are more women in college than men.
Of course, there got to be more women in college than men, idiot. There is more women in more. Let's show this donkey how foolish he is. For example, US. Okay. In the US, there is, according to this, who is this? Which is this statistic.com? Is it trustworthy? I don't know. So let's look at this. It say there is 97.9 males per 100 female in this. This is the US. What about in Jamaica? Still more women than men in Jamaica. So there's more women in the world than men, even though it might not be a significant amount more, but there's more women in the world than men. And what? There's more men wasting their time in this world. There's more men, especially speaking from a black perspective. There's a lot of black men wasting their time. Just being real. As a black man from Jamaica, there's a lot of black men wasting their time. America, there's a lot of black men. I'm here in America and I see a lot of black men wasting their time. I'm over in Jamaica, I see a lot of black men wasting their time on the wrong things, especially if you're living in the in the urban areas. In the urban areas, and I'm sure that's the same way it is in Muslim communities, in Muslim countries. I am sure that's the same way it is. Men waste their time. In Africa, I'm sure that's the same way it is. A lot of men are wasting their time. They don't want to go to school. They don't want nothing, but they want a woman. And they want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Susan and Betty. They want all that. They want all that, but they will sit down and waste their time. Women will move forward. A lot of women will move forward and pass them. If men want to go to school, they will go to school. No one, especially in the United States, who is holding your hand and your foot and say, stay right here, boy. You can't go to school. No one at all. I could get up from where I am right now, even though it's 3 o'clock, after 3 in the afternoon, and I could go enroll for school right now if I want to. And sometimes you don't even have to have money to go to school. All you have to do, get a student loan and be steadfast in your school. And when you finish school, you pay for that loan. To work your butt off and pay for that loan as much as you can pay for that loan. And you live your life. This is what the United States offer people. I don't know. Every country don't offer that because they can't offer that. But women will take up the role that men don't take. You know, Jesus says, if I think he and let me make sure I'm quoting Jesus, but I know it's in the Bible. So let me make sure I'm quoting Jesus. He says, God will cause the stones to worship. God will cause the stones to worship if we don't worship. Yeah, Jesus said it. Luke 19, verse 40. I tell you, he replied, if they keep quiet, the stone will cry out. So that's one place where Jesus said, if they keep quiet, the stone will cry out. If men don't, I'm just using that as an analogy of things, for the stone will cry out for the wall. So I'm just using that as an analogy to show you that, hey, if men don't take their place and educate themselves, women will educate themselves. and women will take their place, her place, and educate themselves. You see what I'm saying? So women will take their place, educate themselves. Men need to take their place and educate themselves. It's not like, oh, women is going to school 13 years and stopping men from going to school. No, they're not. You are stopping yourself. You are stopping yourself. You are stopping yourself. Jesus says, if they keep silent, the wars, if we take a back seat, women will dominate over us. So that's the problem. It's not like women should not go to school. Yes, they should. But why is it looking so much like they're doing better than us and they're going to school more? Because we refuse to do. We refuse to go. We refuse to take a chance. We find more issues and stuff like that. So don't blame women for our demise.
In 2021, U.S. college students were about 60% women.
Why? Why, idiot Pikachu? Is it because there was a system that say women must be more educated than men? No, because men refuse to go get education as much as women go to get education. That's what it means.
We look at women in science fields, the percentages are also going up.
And isn't that good for us? What a donkey. What a stupid donkey, man. Isn't that good that women are in science? Can you imagine what this world would be like if women were not in science and no men and men are not taking the role in science? Why? What would happen in this world? What a naive donkey like his God. His God is as naive, and this is the mind that creates his God. This kind of mind creates his God.
Nowhere is the percentage of women studying science higher than in countries like Algeria, Tunisia, Turkey, Albania, and the UAE. In all these Muslim countries, women in science-related fields is over 35%, sometimes up.
And so what? Do you see? Should Muslim women go to school? So that bothering him because women are in science in Albania, in Muslim country. Wow. So if women are not in science and men are not in science, is the women stopping the men from going to school? No, because those Muslim countries would preferably have men going to school above the women. So what is that showing you? What is that showing you? That they're not following the Quran, they're not following Allah, and then they're not following Muhammad. And women are going to school does not have anything to do with it's just have to do with that men are not playing a dominant role in society. Then they are taking the back seat. Not so when men take the back seat, what you expect a woman to do? If a man in a home take the back seat, what do you think the woman should do? Sit down and mope with him and sit down and be worthless with him?
Up to 40%. In comparison, in the US, only about 25% of science students are women.
Oh, the donkey don't see what's happening. In poorer countries, women are educating themselves. Why? Why? In the United States, where a lot of men are going to school, a lot of men are going to school, but more men, especially in the rural communities, could be going to school and should be going to school, but they don't. It is equivalent to almost, the rural community is equivalent to almost all of the poor countries, all part of the poor countries. Like in Jamaica, what happened in the inner city is where poverty is in the inner city here in America, even though it may not be as bad as it is in Jamaica and other countries, but poverty is in the inner city. And these people, women see poverty and they started getting out. It's the same thing that is happening in these third world countries. This guy is stupid. I remember this girl from Cameroon. We were in the break room when I just became a nurse. We were in the break room eating lunch, and this girl from Cameroon was in the break room. Her name was Judith, and is Judith because she's still around, you know. So her name is Judith, and she was in the break room eating, and this guy from housekeeping came into the break room and said, Judith, I meant to ask you a question, man. And he said to her, when was the first time you wear clothes? And she said, what do you mean? But her brain is so fast. And she said, oh, the first time I wear clothes is when I got to Atlanta. They ushered me into a room and we had to put on clothes. So he said, you were on the plane naked? Because there is so much Americans who have a misconception of what's going on in the world, other parts of the world. And Daniel Haqiqatjou is a dumb idiot. You could tell that. He's an educated dumb idiot because he claimed he go to Harvard University, but he's an educated dumb idiot. Why are these things trend happening in these countries that are poorer than the United States? Why do you think that they are happening in this? Because women are realizing that and seeing something that men are overlooking. They're realizing that we can change our community. We can change the family structures. Even women who have kids and have husbands are going to school. I've seen it in Jamaica. Women realize in poverty-stricken places that we can make changes. We can go to school. If the men won't do it, the women go do it. And that's what this idiot don't realize. That is in America. The reason behind what's going on in America is because in America there is a more of an equality than it is in other countries. There is more of an equality than it is in other countries. And there's less poverty than it is in other countries. So there is less rush to do things. There's more relaxation. If opportunity knock on people's door in some of these countries, they're going to take it and run with it. Nigeria, other places in the world, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, all those places, women are educating themselves because opportunity is knocking and they realize that I could get out of the situation that I am in. What woman want to live in the situation that they're in, poverty-stricken situation that they're in, where they can't even buy soap to wash themselves? For real. That's the kind of poverty that lives in this country, and this guy don't have a clue. That's the kind of poverty, because he's never seen those kind of poverty. He never been hungry before and don't know where his next meal coming from. So the donkey is galloping.
So by all measures, women in general and Muslim women in particular are making huge strides in education.
Are making huge strides in education. But you want them to make a backward stride. Notice what he called it? Stride. So look up the word stride and see what stride means. Does stride own a negative connotation? Stride. I don't think stride have a negative connotation to it. So why are you using the word stride? Walk with long, decisive step, cross an obstacle with one long step. So it's a crossing obstacle. Which one of the stride is he talking about? A long, decisive step, a step, our stage in progress towards an aim. Oh, you may be against the aim. What a donkey, man.
This is great news, right? Having more and more educated and empowered women can only mean good things for society.
But look what he do. As I say, in everything in society, there is bad and there's good. There's a good law, there's a gun law that is passed that will take effect in somewhere in April in Ohio. There is a gun law that is passed. I was reading about it last night. A gun law that is passed that says every citizen without a felony can just go to a gun store and buy a gun. If you don't have a felony, you just go to a gun store and you buy a gun, because they say people are losing their life when they could protect their life if they have a gun themselves. Is there the bad to it? Yes, there is a bad to it, because what? In a lot of households where there is women who don't have felonies, there are men who have felonies. Just to be real, in the urban area, in a lot of households where there is women who don't have felonies, there are men who have felonies. So you're actually putting the gun in the hand of a man who have a felony. So that's a bad there. But is there a good to it? Yes, there is a good. Yes, there is a good. Because I've seen people die, and even on video on YouTube, where if they had a gun, I actually see a man walk into look it up. You will see a man walk into a barber shop, shot the barber while the barber is cutting the ear of a police officer. I think they say the guy is a off-duty police officer, but he's in plain clothes. Shot the guy and was gonna shot the guy again. And the guy got up from the chair, walk away from the chair, because he came naturally for the barber, to kill the barber. And he walked away from the chair. You could hear the door open, like he walked outside, or like he acted like he was gonna go outside, but he turned right back and just take his gun out and shoot the guy before he could finish off the barber. So you see that the gun play a role. It play a role, positive role in some ways, but it also play a negative role in another way. It could cause negative role. So in everything we do, you will find negative people in amongst what is being going on. So you're going to hear what he says.
Society as a whole, right? But this is not what we see. Instead, we see society collapsing.
So society collapsing. Collapsing in what way is this idiot talking about? Society is collapsing. You know, is Islam a collapse of society? Yes, Islam is a collapse of society. Beating women, breaking their arm in Afghanistan. Following the same law that this idiot is preaching. Following the same law, women are being beaten and are broken. Why? Because the Quran said to beat your woman. So at the end of the day, is Islam a collapse? Would Islam cause a collapse in the American society? Yes, it would cause a collapse in the American society, because it depends on what you see as a rise in society and what you see as a fall in society. And it depends on what you want to pick out among the fall in society. It all depends on what you want to pick out as the fall in society. Having too much children in a poor society as the African and the Jamaican society, having too much children because you're uneducated, is that a fall or a rise? It's a fall. So at the end of the day, a woman die having baby early, or a child, let's say a child, because people were having children and they're 12, 14, 16, they're children. Children having children early age in poor community where the babies are dying and the mothers are dying, is that a rise in society or a fall in society? A woman having 5 kids before her 20th birthday, is that a rise in society or a fall in society? To who is it seen as a rise to, and who does it see as a fall to? You see what I'm saying? So Islamic perspective, where is the rise and the fall?
Immediately, we can look at statistics regarding women's happiness levels. Sociologist Betsy Stevenson wrote a landmark paper titled "The Paradox of Declining Female Happiness." The paradox is that women are more educated, more powerful, more wealthy than ever before, yet their happiness has steadily declined.
And how? How is that? How did that woman come to that conclusion that their happiness is steadily declining? How she come to that conclusion that an educated woman happiness is declined more than an uneducated woman. Do you see this guy is a stupid donkey, man? How is an educated, how she come to the conclusion that an educated woman's happiness? Because notice, true happiness comes from Christ Jesus. That's my belief. But happiness, what we call quote unquote happiness in society. How did this woman come to the conclusion that the happiness of a woman decline? A woman who can afford to go on a vacation whenever she wants to. A woman that can afford to buy a car if she wants to. A woman who can afford to help her family if she wants to. A woman that can afford to. How is her happiness decline versus a woman living in poverty with 5, 6, 7, 8? If she had stick to the rules of the poverty level in America and stay in the ghetto where she is and end up with children, end up with this, end up with that, and sometimes end up being shot because of the counterpart, the male counterpart that is around her. How did this donkey of a woman draw to this conclusion that these things are true?
The author notes that these results are global and pervasive across all demographics.
How she draw to that conclusion? How she draw to the conclusion of what overall happiness is? This is where I see Muhammad is the greatest man. You remember, you ever watched this video about Muhammad is the greatest man? And when you look and see why they name Muhammad the greatest man, you'll be like, wow. So you make your own criteria and let the criteria fit Muhammad, and he's the greatest man. So what is the criteria that this woman is judging things on? Because as far as I see, and I'm seeing, it seems like, according to worldly happiness, women are more happy nowadays than they were back in the days when they could not afford to go to. Because I've seen poverty, what poverty do in my community. I've seen what poverty do. Poverty cause men to become alcoholic, abuse alcohol. Poverty even causes men to become gambler. Why? They take chances. They say, hey, I have $5. They pass somewhere and realize that, hey, there's some money on the table. They have the $5, they put it on the table. Next thing, they're coming home to their wife without money. Several men in my community were gamblers. Several of them. Not one, not two, not three, not four, but several men. And why make them gamble? Poverty. Men cry to me because they want to stop gambling, but they draw into it and become addicted to it. Why did they draw into it? I want to send my daughter to school, this and that last week, this and that and that and that. They draw into these things. Poverty caused what again? Violence. Domestic violence. Look, since the Taliban take over Afghanistan and the rate of domestic violence and the women crying out there. Watch that video, you will see. Why? Because the situation that was there before and the preventative situation and the situation where women could educate themselves is gone from Afghanistan, to the point where the Taliban take over and suppress women. So you have, are the women more happy? So what is this idiot call women happiness?
What we're also seeing is the death of marriage and family. According to Pew, in a few short years, 75% of millennials will never be married.
So women will never be married is what? A choice that women make. It's a choice that they make. Who say marriage is the most important thing in any society? Who say marriage is the most important thing? It's not the most important thing. If a man or a woman could remain out of marriage and don't violate the law of the Most High God, it would be a wonderful thing. It would be a wonderful thing if you could stay away from being married, because you're not bringing a child in this destructive world. You know, and it's the reality of it. It's just the total reality. You're not bringing another life into this destructive world of craziness, another Pikachu in this world. Would you want to bring another Pikachu in this world? No.
This will be an all-time low. Academics like Manveer Singh say, quote, marriage as practice in every society is in steep decline globally, end quote. Now, I can give you all kinds of stats about how fertility rates are plummeting, how divorce rates are rising.
Fertility rate are plummeting. That is concern in a society like now. So why is he so self-centered on this rural fertility rate is plummeting? Why am I concerned not to see more children being born in this world? Would he rather to see marriage couple in the ghetto with their children living in poverty and then turn out to be gangbangers on the street? Is that what he want to see? Is that what he want to see? Even today in Michigan, there's many Muslim kids hooked on crack cocaine and heroin and stuff. Look it up if you think I'm lying. So what are you talking about? Why you worried about women not having kids and stuff like that? That's not a problem you should worry about. Muhammad didn't have any son because God cut off his. So what is this about having kids and having this and having this? Did Muhammad have any children anyway? I can't tell if Muhammad having any children. I really can't tell of Muhammad having any children at all, because according to what I heard, the kids were not Muhammad kids, was from his first wife that have kids before Muhammad have, and those were the only kids they claim was Muhammad. What is this about kids? That everybody should have kids. What is this?
How zina is through the roof, how this is leading to millions of abortions every year.
I'm against abortion, but education is not what leads to abortion. This is how stupid this guy is. Let me read something and about abortion. Let me read something about abortion. Education is not the major cause of abortion. One of the major causes of abortion is poverty. One of the major causes of abortion is poverty. So this is from the Guttmacher Institute, Perspective on Sexual and Productive Health, a journal of peer-reviewed research. So this, and notice what it says here. Let me see where I could get to there. Reason for abortion. Among the structured survey respondents, the two most common reasons were having a baby with drastically changed my life. So somebody say having a baby will drastically change my life. Doesn't have to be a woman going to school, but anybody saying that a baby will drastically change my life, and I can't afford a baby now. So this is what they're saying. I can't afford a baby now. That is what causing. And when it goes down there, down to the bottom, it says 60% of abortion is caused by because of poverty. Let me find that portion and read it. 60% of abortion is caused by poverty. People in poverty. 60%. So here it is. Some 60% were below 20% of the federal poverty line. So some 60% of the poverty people doing abortion was below 200% of the federal poverty line. So 60%, and that was in 2000 what? Survey in 2000. So the year 2000. Now we're talking about 2004. 60% were below this level. So in 2004, 60% was below that level. So poverty have a lot to do with abortion. Poverty have a lot to do with abortion, and education have a lot to do with abortion. Education have a lot to do with abortion. So it have nothing to, I'm not saying that it doesn't have anything to do with people educating, going to school, but what he's doing is making a broad sweep right there.
Now, I'm not blaming all this on women's education exclusively, by the way, but women's empowerment through education plays a major part in every single one of these trends.
I would not say that, because educated women would make a real educated woman make rational move and knows when, how to live her life and stuff like that. A real educated woman, to me, so I wouldn't even make a statement like that, like, blaming this and empowerment of women that cause abortion, because men are encouraging women to do abortion. There's a lot of men encouraging women to go do abortion. It's not my kid. How many times you are the father and saying that he's not the father? So you want to tell me that person who say you are the father didn't tell that girl, you better go do this, girl, you better do. Yes, a lot of times men are the one who encourage women to go do abortion. To be real with you. So a lot of people be like, when you're dealing with abortion, you have to deal with both sex. You can't isolate one sex and say, oh, it's a woman. No, it's both. I'm not saying that there's women who don't take it upon themselves and go do it. Yes, there are. But it is both sex. The blame should be on both sex equally, the blame on both sex, because there's a lot of men who are encouraging women and even paying for women to go do abortion. A lot of them out here doing it. A lot of them out here doing it. Yes. A lot of them out here doing it. They're not excused.
The causal link is clear when we consider certain basic, undeniable facts about human biology and psychology. Women pursuing education means they have to delay marriage. Delaying marriage means women get married when they're older, meaning they have fewer children or no.
Look at the idiot. Who would not want women to have fewer children now? And tell me not the truth, man. Who would not want a woman to have fewer children in a society like this?
No children. And once women are educated, they want to pursue careers, which means that even if they do have 1 or 2 children, they have to abandon those children for their empowering careers.
Oh, wow. So poverty-stricken women are not abandoning their children because they are poverty-stricken. Yes, they are, because they have to go into the work field anyway. Anyway. They have to go into the work field, but guess what they go into? Sweatshops. They go into sweatshops and spend hours into sweatshops. This guy is a stupid donkey, man. So these women are spending, and they have more children because poverty causes more children. It is, if you look at why women have more children, I'm sure poverty have a lot to do with why most women have more children. The women who have more children in societies where women have more children, I can guarantee you that poverty has something to do with it. But yet still, these women still have to go out into the work field. In sweatshop, in Muslim countries too. They have to go to work and work in sweatshop because they're realizing that Allah is an idiot and a man cannot totally take care of a woman as the world change. You cannot totally, one person cannot totally take care of the women and children, especially if you was, oh, let's have 4, 5, 6 children and you're poor. And even more, and you are poor. How do you take care of them as a single man, one man? How does that happen? Tell me how it happened. How does it happen? It's difficult. Very, very difficult. So you find women are going to the sweatshop. And I think the lady here who is debating remind him of that women are going into the sweatshop. So what we're going to do now, we are going to let you guys listen to Putin, what Putin said, and if it don't sound just like what Ilhan Omar is saying. Listen to Putin. Why is Putin and Ilhan Omar have the same agenda? Why is it? I don't know. Why is Putin speaking against Mohammed?
We need to ensure freedom of creativity and freedom in general, because without freedom we won't be able to move forward. But we need to understand that this freedom can at a certain point run counter to the objectives we are pursuing. And this conflict emerges when...
What is the objective he is pursuing? What is the objective this man is pursuing? What is he trying to do? Why he's telling you like freedom is good, but he can run counter to what objective that we are pursuing. What is the objective that we are pursuing? Does the Russian people pursuing the same objective as Vladimir Putin?
This freedom clashes with the freedom of other people. You represent the media.
This freedom clashes with the freedom of other people, but yet still he's invading Ukraine. This man sounds just like Mohammed and sounds just like Ilhan Omar. Just like Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar says we should need to fight against bigotry. We need to fight against bigotry. But yet still, Islam is the most bigot religion. It's a bigot religion totally, where you're supposed to fight against people, fight against the Jews and the Christian, according to Surah 9 verse 29. And you see what Surah Surah 9 verse 125 says. But she's sending an agenda that we need to wipe out bigotry. But she's a Muslim, following the same Quran, but telling you to wipe out bigotry. What is her agenda? Her agenda is to shut American up so that Islam can spread. Shut up America so that Islam can spread. All the media that is revealing how stupid Islam is and how wicked Muhammad was, shut them up. And that is what Putin is actually saying right here. Because listen to Putin's speech. Does it make sense? If the guy is actually saying exactly what Putin is saying, does it make sense? Freedom of speech is good. Literally, that's what he's saying. But it might go against our agenda, our purpose. What are we trying to achieve?
Culture is a very good Russian TV channel. If there is an insult against Prophet Muhammad,
if there's an insult against Prophet Muhammad,
you think this is about exercising your freedom of creativity? I don't think so. I think it's an infringement of the freedom of religion. This is also an insult to the sacred feelings of people who profess Islam.
So what Putin really doing? Putin know that insult against Muhammad is an insult against him because he's just like Muhammad. That's what he is. Putin ain't no idiot when it comes to that kind of thing. He knows, even though he's an idiot, He's not an idiot when it comes to selling his propaganda. He knows that fighting against Muhammad is fighting against himself, because Muhammad was just like him. Exile people, assassinate people, prison people, torture people, rob people, invade people's community, want to reclaim what he sold or what he give away. He make treaty with people, then break his treaty. That's Muhammad.
Moreover, it brings about even more acute extremist sentiments.
Having more extremist sentiments. That's what he's running from. What he called extremist sentiments, that's what he is running from. He's actually talking about himself here. How he is using something, keeping people quiet. And in all these societies where you see they're fighting against killing people for Muhammad, they're actually trying to preserve themselves. That's what they're doing. They're trying to preserve their man-controlled society, men-controlled society, where women are subjugated and you know, that's what they're trying to do. And he is trying to control his society where he subjugate all of his people to his nonsense. Look at what he caused to his people. His people are going to go to very hard time because of him. He doesn't care.
Remember those people who went into the office of the newspaper and they simply shot everyone. It was terrible. So
he said the people who go to the office of the newspaper and shot everyone, that was terrible. He's talking about they go into that where the cartoon, I can't remember what the name of that place was, and the Muslims, and they shoot everyone. He said that was terrible. But look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. That was terrible, but look what he's doing. Putin is trying to take attention from himself, just like Ilhan Omar is trying to take attention away from Islam. Putin is selling something, trying to take attention from himself. And if you look at a lot of Muslims are promoting this video. They were promoting it even before, way before. When he said it originally, they promote it so much. But now a lot of them are kind of recanting their stuff, because what they realize that why would Putin be promoting Islam? Kissing up to Islam. Why? He's not a Muslim.
freedom has to stem from inside, and it is to involve respect for everyone.
Freedom have to stem from inside. Oh, wow. How the people in Russia free? Can you say whatever you if you say Vladimir Putin is a dirty bastard, are you safe?
You need to think about who your actions can affect. I said today that
You must think about who your action can affect. Oh, wow.
Russia is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious state, and we have it in our blood to treat the traditions and one another in general with great respect. And this is
Wow. We treat one another in great respect. Wow. What is respect for this idiot? What is really respect for this idiot? You know, I would really want to know what is called respect to this idiot. What is really respect? How does he define respect?
a very good groundwork that allows Russia to exist as a multinational, multi-ethnic state.
So what he call what does he call respect? Who have a clue what this man called respect? Nobody knows what this man called respect, because respect is respecting the privacy of other nations and don't invade countries. That's what respect is. You know, and this is how you know the evil of the evil support evil. That's how you know evil support evil. You see him supporting Islam because evil support evil. Why would he be promoting Islam? Because he's evil, and Islam is evil. Totally. So we are gonna look at the rest of David Wood's video, and then we are going to say sayonara. What they say in Russia, I don't know. I don't know what they say in Russia, man. What they say?
So, according to Ilhan Omar, no one will ever have freedom of religion until everyone has freedom of religion, and everyone can't possibly have freedom of religion until everyone rejects Islam.
And it's true.
So,
it is true. Look what happened in the Islamic countries, man. Look what happened in the Islamic country. They could come over to the United States and build a mosque. They come over here, turn a church into a mosque, and boasting about it. See them down in Florida turning a church into a mosque, and they advertise it everywhere. Every time you go to YouTube, help us turn this whatever square feet church into a not realizing that the church is the people. The church is not the building. The church is the people. So you all this advertising about church turning church into a mosque, and they purposefully do these things. They will go find where they will search everywhere to find where an old church building. Because let me tell you something about churches, and this is why I see a lot of people talk about church, and my understanding of church is maybe different from a lot of people at church. I believe church is an organized thing. If a church of God is organized, a church of God is not a building that a man like me go build down on the street corner and call it a church of God. That's not a church. I believe a church is an organization that answer to a governing, what should I say, a corporate government, in a sense of respectful, godly people. It's not just where a pastor get rich and put money in his pocket, like you could talk Reinhard Bonnke, Benny Hinn. I don't believe in those people as church. I don't. That's me. That's how I am. Because what? People are millionaire from church, and I don't believe in those kind of church. They are not churches. To me, they're synagogue of Satan. That's me. That's my belief. You might not see it the way I see it, but that's my belief. I believe a church is an organization that the pastor get paid. The pastor get paid from the organization. That's what I believe. That's how I see a church. You know, because God is organized. God is not the author of confusion. You know, God don't want you to take your tithes and your offering and go throw it into a man's pocket and make him a millionaire, and he buy a plane and fly all over the world and live better than you and have how many $1 million in the bank while people are suffering around him. I don't believe those are churches. I believe church is an organization that is organized. And if you are looking straight forward, you will see that if God established a church, it should be an organized church. should be an organized church. In rural places like Africa and places like that, you know, you might find churches like that are not organized, but and they're not robbing the people. If they're not robbing the people and they're godly churches, why I say I give to those places, why I say those places, because it's hard to have that structure in those places because of the poverty level in some of those places, like in some places in Jamaica and other places. But I wouldn't even exempt Jamaica from having organized church, because they have the ability to have organized church there. But some places I don't expect to see organized church. But a church should be organized. If you say you're a church of God, it should be organized, an organized church. I do believe that. An organized church that answer to a body, a governing body. We're not talking about Jehovah's Witness here. We are not. We're really not. You know, but I do believe that a church have to answer to a body. Because what? How do you hold everybody accountable? How do you hold the pastor accountable for his action? You know, is craziness. Like I see some Nigerian pastor. Oh my God. I see some Nigerian pastors, some of the stuff that these people do, man, is crazy. Just like Muhammad. Some Mohammedic nasty stuff. They control their population to the congregation to the core with just stupidity. The Muhammad used to tell people even how to clean their buttocks. The very way to clean your buttocks, Muhammad said 3 stones. 3 stones, not 4, but 3. So even if you clean with the 3rd stone and there is soil, you can't get another stone. Muhammad said, put a bag behind your buttocks before you squat to poop out in the bushes, because the jinn will come up and do something. I don't know what Muhammad think the jinn will do. Tickle or go up to your anus. I don't know what what Muhammad idea is, and possess you to your anus. Because if the jinn can sleep in your nose, he can go up into your anus. Wow. Muhammad was a beautiful soul. What a man, man. What a man. Wow. Yeah, but that's my belief, you know? Totally.
So Ilhan Omar is calling on everyone to reject Islam. But this would once again make her...
Literally, that's what she's doing. But she's calling on the ignorance of Americans. See, David Wood, among the top apologists in the Christian world. So he knows Islam. And his audience knows Islam by listening to him and researching themselves. But what about the people who don't know Islam? They listen to Ilhan Omar and some of them will agree with him. Like, do you remember the time when Joe Biden was reciting we have to pray for this guy, man. Joe Biden was reciting an hadith and didn't even know that Muhammad was telling people to kill people in that very hadith. Because this is how it is. It is. Appeal to the gullible people. Appeal to the gullible people, and not only the gullible people, but the uneducated, because not all Americans are gullible because they don't know Islam. Some people are uneducated. So they hear her speak and we're like, you know what? Evil, I kind of agree with that part right there. Even though I don't agree with everything she said, I agree with that part that people should leave people to this and this and that. Most people will say that, but they don't really know Islam. If Islam have its way, which that's what they're trying to do. If you criticize Islam less, then Islam is exposed to the American public less. If David Wood wasn't around with his amount of subscriber, you have Sam Shamoun, you have other people all add up together. You know that they are reaching a lot of people. They are reaching a lot of people overseas, everywhere. Their videos are shared, and not only share, sometimes their videos are uploaded by other channel, and that's how they get a lot of their viewers. Like Christian Prince video is uploaded by so many channels. So you might look and see Christian Prince do a video and you see only 75 or whatever thousand views, but that's not the only view that the channel that it has, because people are uploading it to other channels, and then that channel is broadcasting it as their stuff. Like David Wood, I don't have a lot of subscribers, but a lot of people may have never seen this from David Wood, but by watching my channel, they're seeing this from David Wood. So we are helping each other in a way. And this is how I think that we need to spread the message. We need to take things from Sam Shamoun and take it to our channel, and so that people who don't watch Sam Shamoun will see this and take stuff from say Hussein as a Mashni, and we take it on our channel so that someone could say, hey, wow, there's another guy out there, let's see what he's all about. And then we have more people spreading the news about Islam and revealing the stupidity of the people of Islam. Because when you look and see what Pikachu is saying, and the sister of Pikachu, a Muslim, she actually called him a name. Let me show you the name that this girl called Pikachu. This girl called Pikachu a name. Let me show you the name that this girl called Pikachu. And then I will say bye-bye, because we already revealed enough. So look at the name that the girl called Pikachu. Let me just show you that. She actually called Pikachu. She actually called Pikachu something similar to an idiot, in a sense. That's what she called Pikachu. So listen to this. This is what she called Pikachu.
Now I'm going to call this section Daniel's Delusions. Daniel, in numerous articles.
Do you see what she called it? Daniel's delusion. Well, everything she say, he have Islamic sources and stuff, and he counteract everything she says. Everything to the point where it was at a point where someone says, I am at school watching this. It's so funny. I am randomly laughing in the library, a little embarrassed. And those are Muslims. They're at school watching it, and they embarrassed for laughing in. May Allah preserve Brother Daniel. Do you see that? They agree with. They agree that women shouldn't go to school. Daniel must better bring destruction to the lady now. Daniel must better bring destruction to this lady now. So, do you see that? What does this have to do with 6-digit engineer? The girl says she's a 6-digit whatever engineer, mechanical engineer. So she's making 6 digits a year as a mechanical engineer. And and she said, what does this have to do with a 6-digit mechanical engineer? Wow. But as I say, man, this is crazy. But anyway, man, I want to say peace out and peace south, peace east, peace west, peace at its best. Yeah. You know, only Jesus can give us what we want, you know, what we deserve, what we rightfully should get. You know, what we deserve, whether it is destruction or life, only from Jesus. So when we look at this, What do you see?
We need.
What do we see? Anyway, I want to say peace out and God bless you all, man. And thank you for watching the video. Our praises to the triune God, the God above all God, all gods, God who give us wisdom to decipher things and to see evil in Islam. So in Islam, Muhammad says women have half of a brain. So you see where Pikachu coming from. Anyway, bye-bye, guys, and love and peace.